And until consumers start to feel some inflation relief, a good way to save money is by cutting some of those costs of your summer vacation.
Not an easy thing to do, necessarily.
No.
Joining us in studio to share some budgeting tips, local financial advisor Brett Gottlieb. We always appreciate you coming in to talk to us about all these financial questions we have. So things are expensive right now. We're just kind of talking about this. Let's talk about how inflation or the cost of things right now is affecting summer plans.
Yeah, you hit it spot on. It's affecting everything right now. And so when it comes to travel, I mean, we're seeing, NerdWallet just put out a report that we're seeing 40% increases on rental cars, 30% increases on your food expense, and up to 16% increase on like hotels.
Can I ask a question? Like, inflation was 8%.
Right.
And now it's down to 3%, so it's going on top of that, right?
Yep.
Is this greedflation? I mean, are these companies taking advantage of the fact that, prices are going up, so we're just going to make it 40% or 100%, whatever the number might be?
I mean, I'm sure there's part of that comes into play. I mean, I think it's industry specific too. It's like what's going on. If you're a service-based industry, then what are your costs really going up by, and are you having pressure in financial services? We have the opposite. Most people want lower fees for financial services, whereas in food, you had the ability to raise costs because you had to be able to get by and cover. And so now, even if things do come down, are you going to give that back? Probably not.
All right, so if you want to go on vacation, but it does not fit your budget, what does one do?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if it doesn't fit your budget, remember, I'm a big believer you need to go on vacation. You got to go and have fun. I say summer hard, but you don't have to spend money either. You go to the beach. You can go to the mountains. Like there's things you can do to get away, but also you want to look for, where are the deals? Where are those opportunities for you to save? Should you be bundling, certain things from your rental car and your housing or your air transportation? Make sure that you're looking for those deals. There's online discount places, things like that you want to look for. I mean, it's really, I think the main thing is if you haven't prepared for it, also remember, summer's not just June. It's July, it's August. Some even say here on the West Coast, September. Well, plan for, let's go on vacation in September, or maybe push it off until the fall, or Thanksgiving break, winter break, and use that as your vacation time so you can save for it.
As we look at the kind of overall numbers and trends of what people are doing, does it seem like people are pulling back because they have no choice, or some people are like, hey, I'm not changing the way I do things and we'll just have to figure it out? And what's the effect of that? Well,
I mean, from the reports out there, they're saying 55% of people in America are not going to be going on vacation. So I would say they are pulling back. The other challenge you have is you don't want to get caught in that credit card. Let me just slide it and do the credit card thing.
It's ever been, yeah.
Right. Interest rates are outrageous. So if you're going to go on vacation, you want to budget accordingly. Like have a plan. Think about how much are you actually going to be setting aside and spending in the different categories. And maybe you like to eat out, but you're not big on souvenirs. Well, then put more of your budget into the eating out. Talk with your family about it. It's a great opportunity to teach your kids about planning. My kids are pretty funny because they're like, Dad, when are you going to be home to hang out? I'm like, just because you guys are on summer vacation doesn't mean I'm on summer vacation. Like, so these are the things that we really want to be aware of, and planning is the biggest thing around it to save, and looking for those deals. Shop around.
A lot of people think, well, I won't fly anywhere, but I'll drive somewhere. But gas prices, are always high. They have been dropping lately, but, they're going to go up again. That's what they always tell us. So do you think that people, does this have something to do with demand or whatever, what have you? What should people be doing, really?
I think the biggest thing that they should be doing is looking for the deals, setting money aside, even if it's a little bit on a regular basis, looking for, what other things can you do as a family that is more local, where you can drive. A lot of people have electric cars, so maybe, you have the ability to go that route, and that's going to save you. I think really the biggest thing we have to look at when it comes to planning for vacation is just don't get into that credit card debt.
Yeah, that's a dangerous road.
That is America's problem, is we use the plastic and the plastic comes back, and you might think you got a deal when you book that airfare and it was 20% off, but then you turn around and put it on a credit card and you can't pay it off in full and you have a 30% interest rate. It actually costs you more.
Right.
Things like that we want to be really careful about because they can hurt us. I was just online the other day booking some work trip for later in the year. I went to American Express website and I compared that to Southwest website. And I was able to actually go business on Southwest, so I'm in that like A-class seating, and it was less than economy from United, American, and all the others, where you think maybe there's a better deal.
So do your homework, trying to find that little thing. Before we let you go,
it's a plan, really.
Yeah, tight on time. Speaking of plans, what about people who have never made a budget or are not into making a budget, or it's a hard conversation to have between you and your spouse about a budget? Like, what is the way that you address that and actually do it in a time like this?
I think you have to address it. And, you know, even retirees, a lot of times they take their family, their kids on vacation, and the kids the expectation that, you know, mom and dad are going to pay for it even though they're grown adults. It's like, have that hard discussion. It's a better discussion to have now initially and deal with it in the short term, because the long term, if you overspend, especially if you're retired or you're preparing for retirement, and you don't have those dollars, it's going to hurt you in the long run.
I mean, that's the thing. You got to talk about it.
Got to have
open communication.
All right, and then do your homework, as you said. Brett Gottlieb, thank you so much. As always, we always appreciate your insight.
Of course. Thanks, guys.